People these days, they're just too lazy to work. No one wants to work anymore. The labor shortage gets deep fat fried. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-bow.
Deep fat fried.
Why they just won't work no more, Paul?
No malarkey, Jack. Back in my day, we didn't have any entertainment at all, except for the old Scranton Village Elder. He only had 2 teeth. But that guy had 1,000,000 stories. I ain't joking, Fat. We'd sit in the cold every night to hear him tell the tale of the cat he ate once. Nowadays, what with the mobile pages and the web phones and Netscapes and whatnot, it's hard to figure out what even to watch. Most days I'll just surf AOL. Lost, Jack. How do I click off the page? Why are there so many browsers open? It's all too goddamn much if you ask me. Now listen, Fat, I've got your solution. It's called the Pessimist Productions Patreon. You can click the link below and bam, all the entertainment you need, Jack. It's like Willy Wink, you know, the chocolate factory thing. Hundreds of exclusive shows. I ain't kidding. Exclusive streams, more news. You can't go wrong. So cancel that AOL. Join the Pessimist Productions Patreon now. Don't wait, or you'll be sorry, Jack.
Man, you're all about like what's this TJ labor mini-sode thing going on? I like this. You're all about the labor.
Labor-sode. You might not like the conclusions I come to because this episode is going to draw the conclusion these people just don't want to work because they're fucking lazy.
Well, sir, I for one applaud you for this episode.
They're stupid and they're lazy and they just don't know what's what.
Finally, TJ, you've awoken to the capitalist nightmare. And not a nightmare of capitalism itself, TJ, but the industrious employer.
Nightmare out of communism. All hopped up on Bernie Sanders rhetoric. Yes. They're out there being lazy. Disgusting. The only thing that matters is the individual, the rich individual. So the United States is currently facing a massive labor shortage. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, there are more than 10 million open jobs on the final day of June, which is a new record. This record broke May 2021's record of 9.2 million jobs. So we have more and more jobs, more and more positions that need filling, and less people wanting to work them. Indeed, hiring lab director of research Nick Bunker said, labor demand keeps getting stronger. This is the 3rd straight month of record-breaking job openings. The quit rate is also close to its all-time high, which was set just 2 months ago in April. This wave of demand will eventually recede, but job seekers should ride it until then.
Well, of course it makes sense. If demand for labor is an all-time high, according to these metrics, like, of course we're going to quit. It's like, it's not a threat. Everyone's hiring. It's like, if you don't work this shit job, it's like, I'll go find another one.
I'll just go work another shit job.
Like, look, literally they're over there. It says they're hiring right over there. Hey, will you guys hire me? Yeah, come over here. What was that now? Oh, sorry. Oh, never mind. Just keep working, please.
So here's some of the major industries that are facing staffing shortages. Fast food.
Restaurants.
Retail. Truck drivers. Bus drivers. Fishermen. Construction. Nursing. Airlines.
What about the center on your ass industry? How's that one doing?
That one's doing okay. Fuck. Leisure and hospitality currently has over 1.6 million openings, while healthcare and social assistance has over 1.5 million openings. COVID is a driving issue for the healthcare worker shortage.
That makes
not
perfect
shockingly.
Sense. Yeah. I work with a bunch of crazy people that don't believe in vaccines and modern science besides saving their lives. Become a healthcare worker.
So COVID has made it harder to be a healthcare worker. Now many are thinking of quitting. For Audra Williams, intensive care unit nursing was her passion for almost 8 years. It was her career, leading her to work across 4 U.S. states, including most recently New York. But when the coronavirus pandemic broke out last year, and when New York City turned into the virus's global epicenter at one point, she was faced with a difficult decision. Should she leave behind the job she loves for the sake of her own health? My mental health suffered more than I had ever experienced, Williams told CNBC Make It. Excessive workload, failed leadership, and emotional trauma left Williams facing anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder. And in July 2020, she left her nursing job to become an advocate for healthcare workers. This is part of a mass exodus of healthcare workers. This is not an anecdotal story. According to recent studies, between 20 and 30% of frontline U.S. healthcare workers say they are now considering leaving their profession. Notably, in April of 2021, a study by Healthcare Jobs Marketplace Vivian found that 4 in 10, or 43% of nurses, are considering leaving their role in 2021, a figure that is higher among ICU workers, 48%.
Shocking.
So you're talking about like
shocking.
40. I mean, obviously, considering leaving your job and actually leaving it are not the same thing. But like when half of all nurses are considering, like, no, I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Well, in a time of a pandemic, especially a pandemic that so much of this suffering is preventable, and you have people coming in, they're like, I'm not dying of COVID, so we're trying to intubate you now to save your life. It ain't the COVID. Like, and just seeing that play out day after day, the endless amounts of deaths that are totally preventable. I mean, it just feels like I'm sure these people, because they're seeing it every day, it's like futility. It's so futile. Like, what do you do? At a certain point, people are going to break down mentally and just feel like they're making no difference.
Well, another thing is, think about the repercussions of that too for like the pandemic. You have right now, we're getting hit with a shitload of new cases due to the Delta variant. By the time this episode comes out, maybe there's a new variant.
There are other variants already.
Hospitals are already being overwhelmed by new COVID cases. And now you have, half of all nurses basically considering fucking quitting the profession.
Well, that's what has been said a lot is like, talking about these ICU beds and these other, the hospital availability to take new patients. It's like, there's enough actual space for them. There's not enough people to staff that space. Like, and I mean, look, it's a very dangerous job. Thousands of doctors and healthcare workers around the world have died treating COVID patients.
This one's
you
totally
solve it,
solvable.
Paul. Solve it.
At this point in the United States, you literally have no excuse to not be vaccinated against COVID. So if you show up to the hospital with COVID symptoms, you're told to go home. Like, you didn't think we could help you not catch this, so I don't understand why you think we can help you now.
Get out.
There was like a meme going around where it's all like, what I think you're taking to the hospital. No, we're taking you to the Google experts. They're going to Google your symptoms and just give you a homeopathic treatment, basically.
I think they should set up voluntary, like, staffed pest tents and shit in big open areas for COVID patients at this point. So that like the ICU nurses can go back to saving people's lives. What the fuck is happening to Joe Biden?
Well, this is I have a Joe Biden quote here. This is Joe Biden talking about the labor shortage. A lot of people who worked as waiters and waitresses decided they don't want to do that anymore because there's other opportunities at higher wages. There's not much distinction between not going back to work at a restaurant and not going back to work at a factory. So people are looking to change opportunities, change what they're doing. If you make less than $15 an hour working 40 days a week, 40 days a week, you fucking moron.
He's working 40 days a week.
You're making below the poverty level.
Dude, so Biden solved it, Paul. It's not that these people don't want to fucking work or they're not working. They're just taking better opportunities.
President Biden also added he does not believe there is evidence to support the claim that unemployment benefits have kept the people from applying for jobs. I see no evidence it has any serious impact on what Biden said.
I pretty much agree.
So here's a guide to unemployment benefits by state. Here's
Louisiana is abysmal.
Yeah, you can kind of look at them. I don't know if this is an interactive map here. If it is,
it is. That's okay. Cool.
So Louisiana Unemployment Insurance Agency, Louisiana Workforce Commission, you get their number and shit. Payments, maximum payment, I think, of $300 a week.
It says $247 at the bottom.
So you get $547. That's with the $300 a week, but Louisiana recently opted out of the $300 a week, so now it's basically like $247.
Make it on $247 a week.
So
have a good one.
The maximum amount of money you can get in Louisiana, $247 a week. That's that's optimal. A lot of people, you're gonna be making like $170.
Well, TJ, but there's 9 bajillion jobs out there. Ain't nothing stopping them.
So yeah, what about Texas? A little more there, right? Yeah, like you can make like 535 in Texas.
Wow, Texas is actually way better than Louisiana. I
Yeah.
guess I'll give them that. What about the states are doing the best? Looks like Washington's doing pretty
Washington, 844. That's nice.
good. Wow, that's Minnesota up there too. What was Minnesota doing?
Think about moving up to Washington and just quitting my job and just collecting unemployment.
Yeah, there you go.
Just gonna live on 844 a week for the rest of my life. Seems pretty good. So yeah, this is just like a little quick capsule look at like COVID benefits and shit. Hey, with fucking COVID benefits in Washington, you make $1,144 a week. I mean, ain't bad.
I mean, also Washington State has been booming economically for years, so I guess somehow I don't know.
Not for long with them communist policies.
Giving back too much to the people.
Here's the 22 states that are canceling pandemic unemployment benefits early.
These brave states,
In an effort to force people back into the workforce.
these brave noble
And
states.
your emails are up again.
Yeah, great.
Emails are back.
It's just going to do it for every fucking site that wants to pull some kind of login shit.
Yeah,
so.
use Opera after this. But anyways, Alabama, Valiant, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado. Nope, they didn't do it. Connecticut didn't do it. Delaware, fools. District of Columbia didn't do it.
So wait, this is only the ones that wait. Is this just every state that canceled, or is
It's all states, but it's showing some.
the ones that actually did it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Why
well,
are
real
they leaving-
information.
Why are they putting states that aren't canceling early? It's just
I don't know.
confusing.
I'm not sure.
Maybe they're just waiting for it to happen there.
Is
maybe.
Illinois doing it yet? Illinois, get on it. Maryland, do it.
Ohio will provide 5 $1 million prizes to adults who get vaccinated against COVID. Full scholarship, blah, blah, blah. What does that have to do with anything? So, yeah, 22 states, though. It's not super clear on which ones those are looking at this list, but 22 states are canceling their unemployment benefits early. I know Louisiana
Terrible
is
list,
one of them.
TJ. It's a terrible list. Did you pull this list, TJ?
Louisiana is one of the states that's going to fucking do it.
Terrible list.
You're terrible.
Look, whoever pulled this list is a terrible human being, TJ. Was it you, TJ?
ZipRecruiter blog.
Zipper. Yeah, this is a horrible list. Like, I can't even read the list, TJ. Which state is it supposed to be? If it's 22 states, why is it showing all the states, TJ?
I don't know.
This was terrible.
Here is something about how anti-vaxxers may not qualify for unemployment if they're fired.
Healthcare companies from BlackRock and Cisco to Walt Disney and Walmart telling employees it's time to get vaxxed or else. In fact, we just learned today that CNN reportedly fired 3 employees for going into the office unvaccinated. And for those still holding
The greatest civil rights violation of our time.
Fuck them. I don't care they got fired. If these people believe big business can do whatever the fuck it wants to the planet and everything else, that includes their fucking menial job. So if CNN or Cisco or BlackRock or Google or the federal government or
What are you talking
Walmart,
about, Scotty? Us conservatives are the ones standing up to these companies, man. We standing up to them.
if
These communist companies won't control
if the morons
everything.
you can't force them to bake the gay cake, then they can fucking fire you. I mean, like you gotta love this shit. How this shit comes back around where it's like, no, they're mandating it. They're saying if you want to keep your job, then take the vaccine. If not, then just don't have a job. Go work for a company that doesn't give a shit.
options appear to be dwindling because if you work for an employer that requires a COVID vaccination and refuse or quit, you can, of course, just find a new job. But in the meantime, it appears you will not be able to collect unemployment.
Good.
When somebody is discharged from work, most states will look at whether they were discharged due to some type of severe misconduct, which is typically a rule violation, right? So if there was a rule in place from the employer that asked somebody to get vaccinated or required someone to get vaccinated and they chose not to, in that case, they would be violating the rule.
Now, states do also consider in unemployment claims if the worker had good cause for the misconduct. To generally consider good causes are religion or disability, as you mentioned, Tyler.
It's against my religion to get that vaccine.
Why is religion a good cause? Don't know. Strike that
Wait a
one.
minute.
Disability may make sense.
You gonna argue with God? You gonna argue with God?
Yeah, as soon as he shows up, I'll argue with him.
Don't argue with God, boy. God'll strike you dead. Where
Well, I
you
don't
stand.
remember-
What is he waiting for?
I don't remember. I've read the Bible a couple of times. I don't remember reading "Thou shalt not get vaxxed." So
Thou shalt not be jabbed or pricked with the vaccine.
That's part of the Bible, Paul.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, man, there's some
Psalms-
fucking egg on my face now.
Psalms 21:96, bro.
Holy shit, man. And you can reference it too? Fuck, bro.
Yeah. Don't anyone look it up because it's too scary, but you know.
And I think the second one is not necessarily an excuse, but rather an explanation for why a lot of these people, mental disability, I think, has kept a lot of these people from.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Maybe we just start considering religion a disability.
I'm religious. I'm very
Man,
sorry.
That was an edgy take back in fucking 2006, dude.
I know,
Remember
right?
that? There was like whole wars fought over like
Religion is a mental illness.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because we all came to the conclusion it pretty much is.
I mean, I think it is, but whatever. The pandemic caused an estimated extra 1.7 million Americans than normal to just retire early. They're just like, fuck it.
Nope. I'm out.
I don't feel like doing this anymore. Just going to fucking go
Well, think about it. If you
early.
retire like a little early, like all the money they saved not traveling and do other shit they probably would have wanted to do is probably already made up for like the time they didn't work. So fuck it.
Yep. So the number of retired baby boomers rose more from 2019 to 2020 than previous years. So that's largely due to the coronavirus pandemic more than it is just them getting even older. People just like, if you're planning on leaving the workforce soon and then a major pandemic starts sweeping the land, it's like, might as well just make it now.
They'll be back, dude. Don't worry. Those baby boomers will be working until the day they die.
You think so?
A lot of them, yeah.
Cool. This is a news video. These are some news videos that highlight the labor crisis. We don't have to like super fucking, you don't have to watch through all of them or anything like that. But I just wanted you guys to see some of the ways this is being covered.
Sure.
Are the workers? Those are the questions you've probably asked. You've been to a
Where
restaurant
are
or
the
store.
workers?
The worker shortage is crippling some business owners. As NBC2's Dave Elias reports, don't expect those open jobs to be filled anytime soon.
Well, right now in Southwest Florida, there are more than 33,000 people that are unemployed. That number is up from May when there were 27,000 people. So why are we seeing such a workforce shortage? Well, there are several reasons. One, thousands of baby boomers have retired during COVID. Other workers say they want better hours and more pay.
I'm retired, like I say, but my retirement isn't enough to carry my household.
Frank Svalanga, like many, has his choice of jobs. 167,000 open right now in Southwest Florida.
Do we have enough talent to fill the positions? We do not. That's what we're calling it, the national talent crisis that we are.
The national talent crisis.
Oh, so that's what it is, right? There's just not enough. Look, there's just not enough people who have the skills to pay the bills.
How about
that's
we
what
just
the problem
call it
is.
the national working at these places is shitty psychological torture crisis?
That would be too accurate for reality, Paul. This reality likes to dress things up a little bit more.
So here's one about how kids returning to school has intensified the labor shortage.
Back, everyone. Well, tomorrow's July jobs report is expected to show millions more openings than people getting hired as the labor shortage is continuing all across the country.
Fox 26's business reporter Tom Ziska joining us live now. And Tom, this challenge could be made worse with the start of the new school year.
Rashi, Jonathan, it's true. As the summer draws to a close, the government reports about 1 of every 3 teens held a summer job this year. That is the most since 2008, as young workers help fill the gap for businesses that needed help. But with the new school year about to begin, those gaps are about to get wide again.
Oh, man. You know what? Watching this has made me realize what's about to happen, y'all.
What's that?
Quit school and go to work, kids.
Yeah, enough of this school bullshit, kids. Get out there in the real
world. School and incentivize going straight to work.
Aren't these children been pampered enough by society?
Bring back child labor.
Have they not learned what a day's work and toil at these fine factories and fast food restaurants
They will
can
learn
bring?
more working one day at a factory than attending school for an entire
Indeed.
year.
I say the government immediately mandates all those over the age of, let's say, we'll be generous, 12. Get to the factories, get to the fields, make up for the labor shortage.
A little bit about the seafood industry struggling.
It's impossible to be in 3 places at once. But Nate Phillips is trying to do just that. fishing on his family's boat, running his new clam shack, and cutting the day's catch in his fish market.
I've got 2 guys here besides myself. Normally I have 7.
It's the same in all 3 locations.
How many people's jobs do you think you're actually doing right now?
I don't even know if I could put a number on it, but for just the sake of saying, probably 5.
The seafood industry, like so many others, is experiencing a labor shortage. And it's currently high season in Greenport, Long Island, where seafood is in demand.
How would you say business is going?
It's insane.
U.S. seafood prices are up 2.5% since last year, the fastest pace in years. This should be good news for Phillips, but he says customers often leave frustrated and without making a purchase. With little staff, people are forced to wait.
Are you missing out on potential business because of it?
God, if only there was some kind of solution to these problems.
There's got to be a better way.
Automation.
Automation.
Automated everything.
You want to automate it all, Scotty?
Automated all, TJ.
Automated luxury space communism now.
So many experts have discussed ways to end the labor shortage, yet not many companies seem to be listening. So let's discuss some of the ways.
I can't believe that.
Automated luxury space communism, notwithstanding, I guess. 2 major ways to get more workers include, hey, raise those wages up. Go fucking figure, right? The first way to get people back to work is to increase wages. This has been pretty much demonstrated to work. Just give me money. That's all I want.
All right, TJ, sounds good in theory, but then when the labor cost goes through the roof, the business can no longer provide the goods or services at a reasonable price for the consumer, TJ. Thus, if the price is raised, TJ, the demand will go down, the business ultimately fails, society crumbles as we know it. That cannot happen. We cannot allow that to happen, TJ.
All of society just down the fucking
I just drew a line for you in the sand, TJ. The line in the sand we will not cross, TJ. You raise wages and you destroy the economy. You are sick.
The federal minimum wage has not been increased since 2009, when it was increased to $7.25 an hour. Here's a little chart of the history.
Disgusting. This thing even exists to begin with.
So in the 1938 Act, I guess, you got 25 cents.
A mansion for every man, TJ.
Stuff, yeah, pretty much shows like 2009. I mean, like you see that there was it's been updated, pretty frequently, but it's been a while.
And do you know what administration raised the minimum wage? He did the last one to successfully do it.
What's that, Bush?
George W. Bush, TJ,
Yeah.
Republican, a conservative, TJ. So you say that conservatives do not care? What did Obama do?
Nothing. Didn't raise the wage at all.
What did Biden do so far, TJ?
Hasn't raised the wage at all.
I see.
Maybe Trump should have done it.
No, I'm sorry.
Trump
Maybe? Trump had the best economy we've had in generations, TJ.
But the federal minimum wage is not the only game in town. There's also
states, of course.
state level wages. A lot of states have their own minimum wage because, like, $7.25 an hour. I mean, not a single person.
California's $14. No wonder business is being crushed in that place.
It's at a standstill here.
It must be.
I can attest.
We are, by the way, Louisiana is one of the states with no federal minimum wage.
Industry booms here.
There's also quite a few states that just pointlessly have a state wage, but it's identical to the federal.
Locked to the federal wage is what they call it.
Right. So it's like, who gives a shit? It's like, you might as well not even
Some
have
states
that.
also have tipped. They have a tipped wage versus a non-tipped wage.
That's true.
So there's so many.
Mississippi is another one with no statement minimum wage. I think the highest statement wage is it might be California or it might be Washington.
California.
It looks like California's higher.
California's the highest right now, I believe. Well, a lot of states are indexed to inflation too.
Right, which
to
is
keep up.
Yeah, kind of a smart thing. Like maybe you don't, just raise the wage. Maybe you tie it to inflation or something like that, so you don't have to constantly.
Well, that's what's been argued on
issue.
That's what's been argued on the federal level too. Is like it should be indexed to inflation.
It should be indexed to
right
both
now,
inflation and productivity, in my opinion.
Sure. Living as well.
Inflation should be the main index, and then productivity should be like a bonus index. And there should be increases when either of those things goes up.
Let's talk about CEO pay. The average CEO to worker pay ratio at S&P 500 companies was 299 to 1 in 2020. The AFL-CIO says. Here's a list of some of these companies here. This is all the S&P 500 companies you can see here.
I say TJ, yes.
You know.
How many millions and millions of jobs created here, TJ?
None, in my opinion.
What? I'm sorry?
None.
These companies do not provide millions of jobs. Good paying jobs, TJ, with excellent benefits.
I feel like demand drives job
creation. Of course, TJ, because
right.
You own a business, right? You're a job creator.
Yeah.
How many millions do you employ?
10 million.
Oh. Of course, TJ, you turn to humor.
U.S. billionaires gained $1 trillion since the pandemic started. So while most of the country is suffering, these guys seem like they're actually doing better than ever.
And how many jobs they provided, the amount of wealth, TJ, that they have provided in this country.
Change in the wealth of U.S. billionaires since the beginning of the pandemic. Jeff Bezos, up 61 fucking percent. Is that right?
Jesus Christ. Somebody lock this fucking guy up. Elon, too. Look at that.
For Elon Musk.
Lock them
Look
up.
at that. Boom.
You want to lock up the U.S. economy? Is that what you said,
these
Paul?
fucking misery profiteers. What the fuck?
21.8. Mark Zuckerberg, 85.9. Warren Buffett, 30.8.
These hard-working men of vision have built the country into what it is today, a utopian paradise, gentlemen.
So its report says S&P 500 CEOs saw their pay increase by $712,720 on average over the years prior. The findings come as many companies scramble to find workers to fill jobs.
Have you also, TJ? I'm sorry to interrupt. Was probably a well-rehearsed act here. How have you described the profits of these businesses during this time period, TJ? If the CEO presides over a time of record profit, TJ, does he not deserve part of the spoils?
Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his own brow? TJ?
I know you dodged that question, TJ. How convenient.
Yeah, just move on, TJ.
I would
Don't
say
answer the impertinent question of whether or not a man is entitled to the sweat of his own labor.
Yeah, he is. That's why I think workers should be paid more.
I'm sorry, what?
I think the workers should be entitled to the sweat of their own brow.
People who created the great companies that they work for?
I don't really see how it's to their detriment.
It is to their detriment, TJ, because how can Jeff Bezos buy a yacht for his yacht if he has to pay these slovenly, lazy Amazon workers who show up with their hands out for a job? He created the demand, TJ. He has created the supply. He has created all. Did you build those factories, TJ?
Let's get back to Joe and Barack here. So this another way that these companies could attract more people is to give away more hours, because the Affordable Care Act requires companies to offer health insurance to employees working 30 or more hours a week. So 30 hours a week is considered full-time for employers. But since most companies don't want to do those benefits, they mainly hire part-time workers. So a lot of these companies, they don't want to offer health care. So they just like, oh, yeah, you work 29 hours a week. You know, you're part-time. Right. You work 29 hours and 59 minutes a week, buddy. Just can't. You don't quite qualify.
The government
for that
could
health
act,
insurance.
TJ. The government surely could act to remedy this situation. They could offer it to all part-time workers, but the government has wisely in this matter.
Obviously, because a lot of workers a lot of these jobs are only these little part-time jobs that want people to work 20 hours a week. It fucking kind of forces a lot of workers to juggle multiple jobs, all without any benefits.
Forces a lot of workers to go out and get multitudes of varying experience in the world of business.
Yes.
Oh,
indeed.
what a horrible thing to force upon a person.
I mean, it kind of is when they're trying to like run their whole life and stuff, and you want
trying to run their life. They're just trying to. Oh, so I'm sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I see one thing in this picture that was definitely not foisted upon this man.
What's that?
Oh,
a babe in arms tucked under his arm. Which corporation was it that forced him to have that, TJ?
Don't you want that for your future exploitation workforce?
I mean, we can grow them now.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Even worse, some companies have part-time employees with work odd schedules in order to get around giving them benefits. Schedules are normally worse than below. For example, week 1, 40 hours, week 2, 25 hours, week 3, 40 hours, week 4, 25 hours.
What a disingenuous way to characterize this, TJ. 40 hours one week, 25 hours the next week to give that man here time with his precious child. And you say the company does not care?
Well, the company is not doing it to give him time with his precious child. It's doing it to
Clearly it is.
It's doing it to not give him health benefits.
I'm what? What? You must be mistaken here. Giving that man time with his
it's doing it,
beautiful baby girl
doing
there.
it specifically.
Are you saying you are against the family, TJ? Are you against this man juggling these responsibilities and having a family? Yes, you are.
No, I'm in favor of this man having a higher bage and some health care.
This man is having been given time with his child, and you are opposed to that. Let the record state that, TJ.
So just to reiterate the point, in order to not pay this guy as a full-time employee, they give him 40 hours one week and 25 hours the next week, and then 40 hours one week and then 25 hours the next week, basically.
An unfair characterization of reality.
So, this basically stiffs the worker. Sometimes they get half the paycheck for a week because they're the weird schedule they've been put on.
They are paid for the hours.
It also
they
makes
work.
it a lot harder to juggle two jobs when one job does this extreme variance in hours from one week to the next in order to
no extreme variance
bilk you out of health care. Since many companies, especially fast food and retail, mainly hire part-time, workers have to juggle the schedule of several part-time jobs at a time, and American workers basically sick of it. So I want to ask you guys. I don't know why I'm looking at a picture of us here. We can just probably close this nightmare fucking vision of Ronald there.
What is this shit?
This is some shitty ads thing that TJ did. And this was the freeze frame, and we all never slept again.
Yeah, the four-eyed fucking.
Looking at our reactions, I think that's accurate.
Yeah, let's zoom in on that guy. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, Ronald.
So this is corporate America, basically. This is I think this is actually Economos, dude.
A rare glimpse at Economos' true face.
Fear me.
Yeah. So I want to just ask you guys. We got probably we've already reached our time, but I'll ask you guys nonetheless. What do you think needs to be done to get workers back to their shitty jobs?
Well, the non-kayfabe answer, listening to what you covered tonight, is pay them more and give them reasonable benefits for their work.
Wow, amazing. What about you, Scotty?
Do you want the real answer, TJ?
Yeah, I want your real answer.
All right. Oh, God, I actually don't want to give it. No. Look, it's pretty fucking clear. One, you have to deal with this massive pandemic that's going on, which means a lot of these companies are mandating vaccination. Some are not. I think that's foolish. You have to raise wages. You also have to focus on corporate culture, making it better. You have to mandate people have a certain number of hours for businesses. And people say, no, you shouldn't do that. But look, we basically have like the gig economy. We have part-time workers. Those are not leading to stable environments. So these companies are basically trying to save on labor costs by juggling people this way. And if people refuse to do it, there has to be a paradigm shift to something that's more sustainable. And because clearly this system is not. Also, during the pandemic, jobs were cut back so drastically. And it's hard, as we know, if you cut that back millions of employees, and so they try to, now we got to bring people back because there's demand again. The demand has increased way faster than the supply of workers. So, I mean, there's just so many imbalances right now, and our society has shown itself as being effectual at dealing with these problems. So more than likely, the answer is nothing is going to happen, but eventually it will fix itself because people probably need to work.
All right. There we go. See ya.
Big fat pride.